Is Donald Trump a Russian asset? It's a simple question. I think it would require a simple yes or no answer, but what unfolded during the Senate confirmation hearing between a Democratic senator and two of Trump's nominees was frankly stunning and revealing. Senator Jeff Merkley did an amazing job setting forth all the facts of what we know about Trump, how he's acted, and just watch how Trump's nominees responded.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to ask you, Mr. Lando, is President Trump a Russian asset?
Absolutely not, Senator. He's the President of the United States, duly elected by the American people.
Well, the reason I ask is many people back home have been asking me this question. And they say, if he was an asset, we would see exactly what he's doing now. For example, he proceeded to forward or express from the Oval Office propaganda that has been Russian propaganda, that Ukraine started the war, that Zelensky is a dictator. Second of all, he gave away key things on the negotiating table before the negotiations even started, ensuring U.S. would absolutely oppose any possibility of NATO membership for Ukraine. Third, he's cut off the arms shipments to Ukraine, completely undermining their ability against a massive neighbor next door with short supply lines and huge resources. Fourth, he's undermined the partnership with Europe, which has been essential to security over the last 80 years, a major goal of Putin's. And then he's done everything to discredit and dismean Zelensky on the international stage with the just shameful press conference in which he teamed up with the vice president to attack Zelensky. I can't imagine that if he was a Russian asset, he could do anything more favorable than these 5 points. What else could a Russian asset actually possibly do that Trump hasn't yet done?
Senator, the President has made it absolutely clear that his top priority is to try to bring peace and end an absolutely savage war. I know you're familiar with the savagery. This is turning into World War I style trench warfare now in eastern Ukraine. The President is an exceptionally gifted deal maker. He is probably the only individual in the entire universe that could actually stop this. The President understands, as part of his deal
well,
making,
let's turn to another of the folks here.
Carrots and
Thank you very much, since you're now off the topic I was raising. Mr. Whitaker, these 5 things that the President has done that are so favorable to Putin and so damaging to Ukraine and to our partnership with Europe, do you approve of them?
Well, Senator, thanks for that question. I'm just going to have to politely disagree with you on those 5 things and the way you've framed them. You know, the war in Ukraine would have never happened if President Trump was president in 2022. The war in Ukraine happened because of Joe Biden's weakness after his
I don't think that
withdrawal
was
from
the question I
Afghanistan.
asked, but maybe you could some other time go on television and express those points of view. But do you mind just answering the question I asked? Do you agree with the 5 things that President Trump has done, starting with him expressing Russian propaganda from the Oval Office?
Well, you know, again, as I mentioned to your colleague, I'm not here to assign labels. We're in the middle of a very important peace negotiation.
Okay, thank you. I do hope that we have an administration that works to get the very best deal for Ukraine. But what a Russian asset would do would be to work to get the very best deal for Russia. And that appears to be exactly what Donald Trump is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, very, very telling that that is how they responded. Sometimes what you don't say is more telling than what you do. And Donald Trump is also taking actions that would lead me to believe that if he's not a Russian asset, he definitely is not on America's side. Here is Jennifer Jacobs, an NBC reporter, saying that Reuters is announcing or reporting that U.S. President Donald Trump's administration is planning to revoke temporary legal status for 240,000 Ukrainians who fled the conflict with Russia, a senior Trump official and 3 sources familiar with the matter said, potentially putting them on a fast track to deportation. Where are they going to go home to? Their country is at war. The move expected as soon as April would be a stunning reversal of the welcome Ukrainians received under President Joe Biden's administration. Here's a little bit more of that. The move to end programs for Ukrainian refugees began before Trump's public dispute with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, the sources said, and is part of a broader effort by the administration to revoke the legal status of about 1.8 million migrants who entered the U.S. under humanitarian temporary asylum programs launched by the Biden administration. So that is a lie. I guarantee you that is a lie. The sources said. So they just want to make it seem like this isn't because Donald Trump had a hissy fit, because Zelensky stood up for himself. So they have to put in these little blind items and say, oh no, this is definitely part of a broader effort to be dicks. The Trump team is also reportedly planning to cancel legal status of around 550,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and as soon as March, 2 sources added. No one was on record for comment. And then also, Donald Trump is now reportedly ending intelligence sharing with Ukraine.
Donald Trump has ordered a pause in intelligence sharing with Ukraine as part of his suspension of military assistance to Kyiv. It's a move that could seriously affect Ukraine's ability to target Russian forces and to defend itself. But Mr. Trump has suggested he may be willing to continue talks with Kyiv, and President Zelensky has said that Ukrainian and US teams are working together with what he called forward momentum. President Macron of France has tonight...
Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I guess my question for all of you is, do you think Donald Trump is sharing intelligence with Russia? Is that out of the question? We truly don't know. We don't know. But what I do know is Zelensky, Ukraine, were invaded by a larger country. They did nothing wrong. They didn't start the war. They will not end it until they get the fuck out of their country. And that's how it should be. Donald Trump has given Russia everything it wants. He is, as that video said, he has given away things to Russia without any demands. So if he were a Russian asset, this is how he would act. Thanks so much for watching. And by the way, yes, I did cut myself shaving. That's all that is. I'll see you next time. Bye.